Every wealth coach in the world will show you a whiteboard that looks exactly like this one. 5 pillars, clean formula. Feels like a system. Time, location, financial literacy, network, leverage. And they're not lying to you. They're just giving you the retail version. The version designed for people who are meant to work inside the system, not own it. Today I'm going to show you the same 5 pillars, same words, completely different meaning. Because the wealthy didn't get wealthy following the definition on that board. They got wealthy by understanding what those words actually do when you operate at the level that's never explained in public. If you are new here, be kind enough to subscribe. It will be an honor to always have you around. They teach you wealth equals freedom. Save money, build assets. One day, you'll be free. That's the promise. But here's the documented reality. In 1971, the median American household income was $10,290. The median home cost $25,300, roughly 2.5 times your annual salary. In 2024, median income sits at $80,610. Median home price? $420,400. That's 5 times your salary. They kept teaching the same formula. The math changed underneath it. Wealth equals freedom. Wealth does equal freedom, but only if you define wealth the way they define it, not the way they teach it. They define wealth as control over systems that generate money while you sleep. They teach you wealth as a savings account with a bigger number. Those are not the same thing. And that gap, that specific gap, is where your financial life either compounds or flatlines. Pillar 1. Time. They teach you, start early. Compound interest, the 8th wonder of the world. Einstein probably never said that, but the banks love that you believe he did. Here's what they actually do with time. They manufacture urgency and scarcity to control when you make decisions. The 2008 financial crisis was, at its documented core, a deadline problem. Mortgage-backed securities were engineered with time triggers, reset clauses that kicked in on a schedule. The banks knew, the ratings agencies knew, the Federal Reserve knew. AIG's financial products division in London had written over $440 billion in credit default swaps, documented in their 2007 annual report, with almost no reserves to back them. Time, for them, was a weapon, not a savings vehicle. The real pillar? Time is leverage when you control the clock. It's a trap when someone else does. Pillar 2. Location. They teach you real estate. Buy in the right neighborhood, property appreciates. Here's what location actually means at the top. In 1944, at Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, a resort hotel called the Mount Washington Hotel, 44 nations convened to rebuild the global financial order after World War II. They didn't just pick a currency, they picked a location, physically, geopolitically, institutionally. They decided that the dollar would be the world's reserve currency, that the IMF and World Bank would be headquartered in Washington, D.C., not London, not Paris, not Geneva. That location decision made America the landlord of the global monetary system for the next 80 years. The real pillar, location, is not your zip code. Location is your position inside a power structure. The question is never, where should I buy property? The question is, whose table am I sitting at? And who controls the supply of seats?
Pillar 3. Financial literacy. This is the one they love most. Read these books. Take this course. Understand your money.
And I want to be precise here. Financial literacy is real. It matters. But here's what they don't teach you inside financial literacy. In 2014, the Bank of England published a working paper titled Money Creation in the Modern Economy. It was not a conspiracy theory. It was an official document published by the Central Bank of the United Kingdom. It stated directly, and I'm summarizing their own words, that commercial banks do not lend out deposits. They create new money when they issue loans. The money doesn't exist before the loan. The loan is the money. Most people reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad have no idea that document exists. The real pillar? Financial literacy at the retail level teaches you the rules of a game. The advanced version teaches you who writes the rules and how often they change them without announcement.
Pillar 4. Network.
They say your network is your net worth. Surround yourself with successful people. True, but incomplete. In November 1910, a group of men boarded a private rail car at Hoboken Station in New Jersey. They used first names only, no surnames. They traveled in secret to Jekyll Island, Georgia. Among them, Senator Nelson Aldrich, Frank Vanderlip of National City Bank, Henry Davison of J.P. Morgan, Paul Warburg of Kuhn, Loeb and Company. These men, representing an estimated 1/3 of the world's total wealth at the time, spent 9 days drafting what would become the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. That meeting was not publicly confirmed for decades. Your network is your net worth. Their network writes legislation. The real pillar, at the bottom, networking is relationship building. At the top, networking is institutional architecture. They don't attend events. They build the rooms where decisions happen.
Pillar 5. Leverage.
This one they actually teach close to correctly. Borrow to buy assets. Use other people's money. But here's the level they don't show you. In 2022 and 2023, as interest rates rose to their highest level since 2001, something interesting happened to the ultra-wealthy. While middle-class homeowners couldn't afford to buy and renters were being priced out, the wealthiest Americans were borrowing more, not less. Why? Because they borrow against appreciating assets, portfolios, private equity stakes, real estate, at rates far below what the assets return. It's called buy, borrow, die. And it's a documented tax strategy used legally by the wealthiest Americans to access liquidity without triggering capital gains events. ProPublica documented this in June 2021 using leaked IRS data. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Carl Icahn. Legal, documented, known. The real pillar. At the retail level, leverage is a mortgage. At the top, leverage is a mechanism that lets you consume wealth without ever converting it, and therefore never paying tax on it.
The 5 pillars are real.
Time, location, financial literacy, network, leverage. They work. But there are 2 versions of every pillar. The version that makes you a better participant and the version that makes you an owner of the system participants work inside. They gave you the whiteboard. They kept the blueprint.